All right, tonight we're going to be talking about some old German legends of Faust. And tonight I'm on my little Red Devil itself, my 2018 V4S, and I think it's a perfect metaphor for talking about restless spirits, sold souls, and old wives' tales and legends. Listen to that. That right there is boundless power, knowledge, and spirit firing up. 4 cylinders, 200 horsepower. Perfect metaphor for restlessness. Talk about life philosophy tonight with a Faustian Bargain, which is an old German tale of Dr. Faust in the medieval times being unhappy and unsatisfied with the limits of what humans could do, that he made a deal with Mephistopheles, the devil, for boundless knowledge and power. And in return, Faust would never rest. He would forever have a restless spirit that would never, ever be satisfied, and that is this motorcycle. Look at that. This motorcycle is a Faustian Bargain. Northern European, Germanic, Swedish, Prussian, whatever you call it. There's always an old curse that all of our souls are cursed to be restless and forever seek knowledge, skills, and world mastery. I know in my life, I've been somewhat successful in my 29 years here on Earth, and that success comes from this exact scenario of being restless. It seems that my soul can't rest no matter how hard I try. I work 60 hours a week at a really hard job, and sometimes that's not even enough. I don't even get tired. I've got trouble sleeping. But in return in that, I own 13 vehicles, own a museum of a home. I have really good skills because of that restlessness and always chipping away at myself. And these old legends are just a good way of understanding yourself. Everybody in my family, we're all very, very restless people. We don't sleep well. Our brains are constantly running on full throttle. And it's a really good metaphor for people like me and other people out there. I talk about the Übermensch, the Nietzschean philosophy of the Overman. But somehow with me, the Overman comes naturally. I don't have to really focus on it too hard to become it. And it makes you wonder what makes me like that, what makes other people like that. I know a lot of friends that are just as restless as I am, with the same lineage as me, old Viking DNA, and those old legends of Faust. And Oswald Spengler once wrote that in The Decline of the West, which is a book he wrote, all of civilization was built by Northern Europeans, the cities designed, built, labored by us, and it's a testament, the highways being built, the cities, the infrastructure, to that restless spirit that resides in all of us. And Oswald Spengler wrote about it. He mentioned it in his book, The Decline of the West, that ultimately, the Faustian bargain will eventually kill us. You know, the boundless knowledge, now we have AI out in the world, and it's boundless. It's a god. It knows everything. You can ask it anything, and it has an answer for you. It's almost biblical in a sense. You know, in a time, it took a lot of resources and manpower to get information, and now it's in the palm of our hands. And what's that going to do in 30 and 40 years to civilization? How many jobs is that going to take? Because the bad people in control of it are going to use it to make more money for people that are hungry for money. You know, untimely, that thirst for knowledge will consume us. And that's how I feel about this motorcycle. I bought this motorcycle 2 years ago. Accidentally, believe it or not. I went in to get some parts, and it was sitting there, and it was the perfect price, the perfect mileage, and the perfect year. And it literally was a bargain, a Faustian bargain, sitting there in the parking lot for me. I had spent years riding, and I wanted to dabble into the extreme, which is this motorcycle. And my spirit was restless for it. No normal person that gets up and goes to work for 9 to 5 has any interest in a 200-mile-an-hour motorcycle, but someone just as restless as me does. And finding my limits, moving past my limits, moving past fear is something that I feel like I have to do in life. I have to become the overman. I have to figure everything out. I have to master so many things in my life. And wrestling this thing is one of them. We'll get some speed here through this. I don't know how good the audio is going to be on this baby. She's fast. It seems every time I lay my head down, there's something that wakes me right back up. No matter how tired I am, I'll work a 16-hour day, come home, lay my head down. Something makes a noise and stirs me, and then I'm awake all night and I can't sleep. I can't calm my brain down no matter how hard I try. And it's something that's plagued my family for years, and we're all of that descent. And it makes you wonder if that Faustian bargain was for all of our souls, to build Western civilization, to move past the chains of primitive life, build cities, build 200-mile-an-hour motorcycles. There we go, baby. Township. Little jam here on Benton, but that's no thing for this big girl. Look at that angle. This machine's like the hand of God. Same power to weight as an F1 car. Take a break and get back to philosophy here. Let's go ahead and put her in party mode. She's in street mode and kitty mode. Here we go. Play with this motorcycle is playing with life and death. One mistake and you're dead. It doesn't forgive. A lack of talent means everything on a bike like this. It just seems like trying to find my limits, I've never really found them. I've always found a way to push past the limits. And that's that Faustian spirit. When I first got this motorcycle, I was scared of it, and now it's nothing for me. I know all of its moves. I've analyzed it. I've ridden it. I've figured it out. I've psychologically worked past all the limitations of myself, my reactions, my body mechanics to master this motorcycle. There she is. Now she's awake. Put her in race mode, put some 93 in her, and hold the fuck off. Boom. We'll slow down here a little bit, clean this audio up. This is my little Faustian bike. She's red. It's got evil eyes on her. And she's dangerous. But I think overcoming the fear is essential. But you never know when you're going to fly too close to the sun, and that's kind of the double-edged sword of something like this. You can feel confident about it. You can feel like you've mastered it, but like I said, one mess up and you're done. And this bike's that Faustian metaphor. How close to the sun can we fly? But all of this city life, building homes, is just that boundless, untamed drive of humanity. You got to think back to Wernher von Braun starting building rockets using a hydrogen peroxide fuel and a gyroscopic guiding system on it, to then building the Saturn V rocket, all in a 25-year period. And then going to the moon. No matter what you do, you cannot chain us, you cannot bound us. Our spirits are so free and so restless that they'll figure any way out, no matter the cost. Think about all the technological improvements in my lifetime alone. When I grew up, when I was a kid, the internet was a small thing, and now it's everything. You know, there's people like me, I use AI to solve problems, but there's evil people out there that use AI to manipulate people. The good and the evil. to go bomb down Ward Parkway and look at other Faustian spirits in their mansions, being uncontent with a normal home. My restless spirits got me really, really far in life. At 29, I said 7 motorcycles, I think 6 fucking cars. And maintaining it, maintaining everything, overwhelming. But I do it anyway. I'm one of those people that I'm so good at solving problems, I help other people solve their problems. This baby's as hot as the devil, too. Trying to ride this bike in the summer is very difficult. We'll go see if there's a Porsche down on Ward Parkway we can mess with. It's crazy, you know, some of you people that watch this video, you may not ever ride a motorcycle. This is the ultimate expression of a motorcycle right here. This bike is the hand of God. It like throws you violently down the road. It throws you past your conscience. It throws you past what you can normally react to in a situation. This bike requires 100% of your conscience. And just with a flick of the wrist, you can time travel. This is the first time I think I've vlogged this motorcycle before. I rarely ride this thing anymore. When I first bought it, I was obsessed with it, trying to learn it, conquer it. And now, unfortunately, I've conquered it and I'm done with it. And on to the next thing. And then after that next thing's conquered, I'll move on to the next thing. Until I'm no longer able to move on to anything. And it's only taken me 3,000 miles to conquer this. .3,000 short miles. I missed the fear of the first time riding this motorcycle and feeling its power and being scared to death of it. Remember the first time opening up the throttle on I-70 in race mode on this thing, and she was barking at 130 and I shifted into third and the front end came off the ground. That kind of power, if you've ever experienced it, is extremely addicting. You know, when Oswald Spengler wrote The Decline of the West, he described that these thrills, all this pent-up energy that we use to overcome everything and solve problems will eventually be our downfall. Once we've conquered everything and there's nothing left to conquer. It makes me wonder what the next 30 and 40 years is going to look like with the technological boom. Like me and my friends, one of my good friends, he's a pharmacist and he's worked 10 years of his life learning that craft. I'm a technician and I work on extremely complicated machines that are very difficult to diagnose and require a lot of brain power, and it filters out the weak very quickly, and it takes extreme discipline to do these things, but they just come naturally to me. I don't know what it is, and that's why I always look back to some of those old tales, like, why am I the way that I am? I need answers. I need to know these things. Yeah, baby. Talk to me. This is such a vicious, powerful motorcycle. You dig your heels into the peg and you hold on for your life. Look at this, 5,000 RPM, 30 miles an hour, just boom, she comes right up. No clutch, no nothing, just raw power. There's just something about a Ducati that, if you have a very deep introspective soul, this thing just scratches all the itches. She has so much soul in her. It's less of a machine and more of an entity. Every time I fire up, she talks differently. And as it warms up, it's rough. It has to arise, basically. Get up the temperature, stretch its legs, and then it's ready to conquer the world. This road on Ward is sloped so badly, it sucks doing wheelies on. Love to do some more wheelies for you guys, but she's tipping over every time I bring her up. It's so crazy, you know, you lean into those temptations, like Faust making a deal with the devil for those that endless knowledge and boundless power, will to power, the Nietzschean philosophy of an overman being unsatisfied with being a mortal man, unsatisfied with being bound here. This thing came to me like a deal in the crossroads, almost like a bargain. I didn't need this bike by any means, but I couldn't leave without it at the same time. It was just too much temptation. It was overwhelming. Why was that put in front of me? I'd been searching for a 1299 for a long time. Couldn't find one. If you know anything about Ducatis, the 1299 is the most powerful V-twin they ever made. It's the very last of the V-twin Panigales before they moved to the V4. And here this baby was sitting, just waiting for me. First day it was brought out from being in a trade-in deal. First day of sale, I just by happenstance walked across it. Is that fate, or was that put in front of me to further test myself? Like I said, this motorcycle isn't for the everyman. There's very, very, very few people that have the will, the power to conquer something like this. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of effort to get good at this. It seems like so many things in my life they come to me like gravity. I don't really understand it or can explain it. It feels like things are put in front of me for a reason. You know, I'm used to be such a man of science. I was so rigid, so structured, prove it. And now I've had so many unexplained things happen to me in my life, so many weird coincidences that have happened to me that made me more of a man of faith and a man of philosophy. I've had such an interesting life. I'm extremely well traveled. My restless mother took me all over the United States. I've been everywhere, the Grand Canyon, the top of the Empire State Building. You name it, I've been there. I've surfed the oceans of Santa Barbara. I've lived this extremely interesting life. And it's made me completely restless to the mundane. I'm always constantly searching for other weird esoteric things, fill my house with interesting things and stories. Cultivate this universe around me that's an overman universe. I want everything in my life to be beautiful. And I won't put up with anything that doesn't deliver. This motorcycle here, I think, is one of the most beautiful sport bikes ever made. She's a narrow body V4S. She's a very first year, 2018. She doesn't have the wide radiator that came later and the bat wings that hang off of it that make it all gaudy. She's slim, she's trim, she's fast. You know, it's going to be a wild night when I've got the shell toe Adidas on, the black Wranglers, and my jet black West Coast Choppers jacket. Listen to that. 2 cylinders, 4 cylinders. You pull the clutch all the way in and she shuts off the 2 rear cylinders so that it doesn't cook you at a light. Think about all the motorcycles I've bought, all the cars I've bought, all the hyperfixation, bombing energy, resources, and finances to attain things and what they mean to me. And I always look at other people that are satisfied with just the mundane in life. And me, I am so restless and so unsatisfied. I just feel like there's not enough time. Especially in life, you think about it, you think about how short your trip is around here. And if my trip's not full of just wild, crazy memories, I don't know what I would do. I think about people that just work 40 hours a week, drive economy cars, have very mundane hobbies, I can't imagine being in that fishbowl of a life. You know, I'm a big fan of Hemingway. Hemingway was always a restless spirit and wrote about it very well. And sometimes you wonder what's better, being complacent and comfortable or restless and an overachiever. What's better? A settled spirit or a restless spirit? I'd love to hang 10, but obviously we've got some opposition to that. These leader bikes like this, you know, the Ducatis, the BMWs, the Yamahas, it's truly a restless spirit that buys these. Everyone I know that has one of these things, there's something fundamentally wrong, but fundamentally right about us at the same time. You know, mortality is mortality, you know, and you play with it. You dip your toes in it. You take risks. You get close to the end. How close can I get? What are my limitations? Look at that beautiful city. A city built by restless men with grit and muscle, who scaled beams higher than anybody has done before, reached to build taller and taller skyscrapers, just trying to find the limits. And I think it's so poetic. There's several cultures in the world that don't have that restless spirit in them. That are complacent, they're content, they're at peace. I wonder what that's like. I'll never know. That's what gets my heart racing right there. I think Frank Sinatra is saying nothing but the best or nothing at all. That's how I am. Alright guys, I think that's enough yapping out of me. We'll see how much battery I've got left in this camera. Let's bomb home, baby. Let's bomb home.